Hello, everyone. We have a debate today between Simple Start and Korin. Simple will be using the Snatcher, and Korin will be using Jiren the Gray. They'll be using equal stats, so let the debate begin.
All right. Simple. I'll go let you start off things if you want. What's your first win con?
Uh, I'm gonna argue that Snatcher would just remove Jiren's soul and take it for its own.
Uh, so this is like a form of soul manipulation.
Yeah, soul manipulation. He can he doesn't destroy or harm your soul. He just takes it away from you.
Well, yeah, that's fine. Nonetheless, I'm still going to argue that Jiren the Gray does have resistance to soul manipulation in general. Now, I actually have a couple reasons for this. All right. Reason number one, yes, he would have far more ki than base Goku, who did resist soul manipulation. And I'm going to get into this. This isn't just about soul destruction, but ki in general is based on three components. As we know, it's actually spiritual in nature, mental in nature, and physical in nature. And this, again, would be supported by the fact it allows you to actually resist, soul destruction and manipulation along those lines. And also, when Bobbity, for example, takes control of you, he's also can take control of your entire body, mind, and spirit. And Vegeta was able to break out of that. So again, I would still argue, nonetheless. And here's the scan of also to back up all those feats I just gave off. And here's the scan of Toriyama verbatim saying, yeah, it's Genki, spiritual, mental, all that.
Something like Sun One, right?
Yeah, it's all ki is all three components into one. That's what makes up ki as a concept: spiritual, mental, and physical in nature.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Yeah, yes, saw the scan. Alright.
Yeah. Like I said, with Bobbity, I gave two examples. So Bobbity, when he takes control, like Vegeta, he was he was taking control of their body, mind, and spirit. And Vegeta was able to overcome that. So that's a form of, again, manipulation. And you have, like I said, Goku, Frieza, and Vegeta all consistently showing resistance to soul hacks, like the Hakai, because that attacks the soul as well, mind, body, and soul as well, actually. So that's consistent evidence right there that Dragon Ball does deal with that. And ki as a concept is spiritual in nature. So I would definitely argue, yeah, since I'm not weaker than you either, this would be very valuable in this situation. I would argue he could resist it.
Alright. Uh, so you would are you gonna go on with your
Will
uh
you give me that point?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, my first win con would actually have to be, I'm gonna argue Jiren is just far more skilled hand to hand fighter. He's just gonna finesse you in close quarters combat, hand to hand combat. He's gonna just outskill you and just eventually take you down in terms of skill and finesse you.
Alright. Uh is that all or
For now, yeah, and I could, if you want to know what kind of skill we're talking about here, I can go in detail. But that's my
yeah,
main
you
thing right
can
now.
yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
listen.
Well, yeah. For example, like he was able to literally keep up with obviously Goku, who has been
Mm-hmm.
training in several styles of martial arts his whole life, like the turtle style martial arts. He trained with Kami Sinin. He trained with Mr. Popo in different styles as well. He learned different techniques, and there's also the fact there's also the fact that Jiren, when he had like the limit breaker, you could say he himself was able to actually fight on par to a pretty good extent with Master Ultra Instinct, and like UI Goku was actually said to have a fighting style they've never really witnessed before, and obviously he had like his own like different types of like hacks, like instant dodge hacks and precog and stuff, and Jiren was able to like keep up with someone that skilled and like was able to like instinct react. So right off the bat, and even like Roshi complimented all this, and Roshi himself has over 300 years of experience with turtle style martial arts, a specific style he's been in for years, centuries. So yeah, I would say Jiren definitely has not only martial arts going for him, but he can fight very, skilled opponents who have years of experience in these martial arts skills. I mean, training in these skills.
All right. Well, my counter is gonna be Snatcher is non-corporeal, as he is like a ghost, and Jiren won't be able to like physically hurt him. So I basically argue that my character is non-corporeal, and your character won't be able to like physically damage him.
Well, I would say, like, for one, just a couple questions. Like, first one, how long would this last?
Well, first one, okay. So he's a ghost. So like he's just always like this. So like it's not like a power or anything. It's just like he's like this by nature.
Okay. All right.
Like anything else you wanna like?
That's an interesting point, honestly. I'm just thinking for a second. I'm not trying to
All right.
derail. I'm giving like a little thought.
Okay. Sorry
Yeah.
for like rushing your or any.
You're cool. I'm not trying to like take time. I'm just like, that's an interesting point. Because let me check. Hold on. Anyways, so he's essentially going to be intangible from the start.
Yeah, he's like he's non-corporeal. 'Cause he's a ghost.
Non-corporeal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was making sure. So like,
Yeah.
yeah. Thing is, Jiren doesn't necessarily have. I don't really have anything to directly say. He himself physically harm per se a non-corporeal entity like that. So yeah,
All right.
I would still argue though that my dude's far more skilled. That was my main point, nonetheless. I mean, I would say yeah. I would still say yeah. At the end of the day, he may not be able to like touch you per se, but would you say that Jiren is more skilled than your dude?
Yeah, I would like like uh like in like fighting skill, that's what I'll give you that point. Like in terms of like
that was part of my argument was like mainly
okay,
skill
fighting skill, yeah.
to end up.
Yeah, I give you fighting skill.
Yeah, well, my main thing was skill, but I was going to eventually finesse you with the skill. But since I won't be technically able to physically hurt you offensively, anyways, with my attacks, I'll say yeah, sure. So we can agree on those 2 points. So yeah, I'll take skill still, but I won't be able to like physically harm you per se. All right. Well, you got another win con?
Yeah. I'm gonna argue that Snatcher will use his death manipulation to um instantly kill Jiren and like just like take him out, just like with a single thought. Just like think about it and like wipe him out.
Well, I would actually argue that. Well, first of all, how does this work?
Okay, so basically, what he does is like he wishes in his mind. So it's kind of like a wishing ability. He can like wish for like your character to be dead and your character will die. It happened with Hack Kid when like Hack Kid was like far away, like in a whole different planet, and Snatcher just wished him dead,
Yeah.
and then it killed his body. Like it just killed him.
Nice. Well, I would actually have to say, due to the fact, I'm going to say this, Jiren has precognition and has shown this in combat, like against like Goku, for example. So I'm going to argue he's definitely going to be able to precog that, see it coming, and be able to avoid it. So he'll be able to like not get hit by it. Not to mention, Jiren has passive ki aura as well, which is the second point I wanted to add on. He actually has passive like ki barriers that like block out like even when he's like asleep and taking a nap and he's off guard meditating, they're passively around his body.
Okay.
Yeah, so a couple of differences. And obviously, so even if like that would obviously be around his body passively. So even if you somehow break past that, since we're equal in stats, it would be very hard. I would argue he's shown that. Like even if you're relative in power, it's still blocking. You'd have to be like still help. Even so, my main on I'm adding on to that though would be like the precognition that he's shown during his fight with Goku. As of right now, I'll say he has like one layer as of right now, but I can argue more if necessary. So yeah, I'd argue you won't really be able to like touch me with that stuff. For a fact, like due to the fact the passive ki aura for the barrier for one, that's definitely a big factor. Precognition. And here's the clip of him fighting Master Ultra Instinct Goku and adapting to him and his own precognition. So yeah, logically he would have to have his own cognition to do this.
Okay, so if
They're about equal in power right here as well. So this is very, very telling.
so your argument is the precognition and barrier.
Yeah, because not only does he have a passive ki barrier around him, he also has at least a layer of precog. So I'm gonna definitely argue the Death Hacks won't even really be able to touch him. He'll be able to, for one, because the passive barrier. For two, the precognition will allow him to see stay a step ahead regardless.
Like about the precognition, like how can he like dodge something that's attacking him from like the inside? Like that's like that was my question for like, because like he can see it coming, but like it's still like he can't like dodge
So
it.
this is in the inside.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but can you actually show it?
Okay.
I mean, I must have not heard you mention that in the beginning. If I didn't, that's my fault. But like, I didn't know you said it works on the inside. I thought you said like he has to like it comes like from his own thought. He thinks about it and can make it like come at you or hit you. But
I'm gonna put it right here. It's in 221, where he just thinks about it and like kills Hack Kid. Wait, It's in zone debating 1, right? That's where it was.
Zone 1, yeah.
I'm gonna post the scan here. I'm gonna put the time right here. 21. Like you can see, like the body doesn't like take damage, and like they just die. Like had time just fall asleep down dead.
Hello there! You didn't forget about me, did ya? Don't tell me you forgot about.
Yeah, but
You blew it. Really chance of surviving this.
okay, here's the time. Oh, 2:21.
Yeah, 2:21.
Sorry.
Surviving this right out the window. Why, hello!
I can give you like the context for like scene if you want later.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost there now. I'll just let you know when I'm done.
Let me know when you're done.
All right. I'm almost there.
Alright.
So 2:21.
Yeah, 2:21.
All right, I'm at 2:09, so I'm getting close.
Alright.
Oh.
Like, did you see it or?
He just kind of. Well, I just heard like a dude kind of, and then like the screen went black or whatever, like right at 2:20.
Oh
when it
yeah,
was-
that's that. When it goes black, that just means that like Hack Kid dies. I can show you that in like multiple
Yeah.
deaths the Hack Kid has had. So if you want me, I can also show you that.
Yeah,
It's
but
still not like.
the thing is, it's kind of like in a way I would say like, how do we know that's coming from the inside of Hack Kid's body and killing him from an inside? Like it doesn't really say. Like it's kind of like, what if he's just doing it goes black as well? What if he's just hitting him with something from the outside?
No, like it always like goes like okay. Let me just talk about those 2 points.
Okay.
Okay. So first, we see no damage done to the body. There, like the second he dies, and then also, I can show you multiple like, showings of Hack Kid dying from ran out of breath there. Give me a second. So like getting killed, and like the screen goes black. That's more like you know how like a video game character dies and then the screen goes black, like a type of like game over and shit.
Yeah.
That's more like that. That's not like actually like him like using like darkness manipulation or something and like clouding him and hitting him.
Yeah, I wasn't
So-
necessarily implying that. I was just saying we don't necessarily see the full thing per se. But I would like to say something for your first point. Like, if you're arguing
Okay.
this is like a death hacks, we don't necessarily have to see physical damage to the body. If it's like a death hacks, I can give an example as well. Like a couple examples from different fictions, just like literally to show us because
Mhm.
hacks doesn't necessarily have to be physical. So like for example, Harry Potter, there's the Avada Kedavra. Instant death hacks, it doesn't even physically harm your body; it just instantly kills you. And then like it doesn't have to do physical damage. And then there's also like in Marvel, there's a dude like the Living Darkness who has instant death hacks. It doesn't have to like physically damage you either; it just instantly drops you down, kills you. So like I'm just saying like this, just because like we don't see physical damage, that doesn't necessarily mean that. It could have been like an instant like a hacksy shot. I'm just saying, like, because coming from inside of him, it's kind of hard to tell.
I understand like what you meant, but I'm gonna just like say that it's not like any type of like, oh, he shot him or he punched him or anything when the lights went out. Actually, if you see the clip again, he dies, and then the screen goes black. So it's not like he like waited till it go dark and like slapped him in the face or shot him, and we don't see him like shooting him or like any type of like attack that's like energy or like
Yeah.
um
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Give you that, but at the same time, I don't really see that there's enough things to suggest it's just automatically inside of his own body unless there's something that heavily like suggests that. Just because he drops, it could. I mean, literally, we don't really know from what I've seen in the clip. Like he's killing him with an instant death hacks, but it's a hacks though, so it's kind of like. But I don't think there's enough evidence to say it's come from the inside of his body. Because like that doesn't really show that per se. Unless you want to leave us. I mean, I'm not trying to. I've seen the clip. Obviously, I'm just saying it seems a little ambiguous on both sides. Like to say, yeah. Would you like to just leave us to the judges?
I'm sorry. Can I get some clarification right quick?
Sure.
Wait, Simple. So you're saying that like that in this clip that like Death Axe is coming out of his body like in like an AoE fashion or something? Is that what you're saying?
Wait, I couldn't hear you well. Let me
Okay.
put you closer.
I'm asking like for this guy Snatcher, right?
Uh-huh.
Like you're saying that is like instant Death Axe, like immediately comes out of his body in this like section of the video in like an AoE fashion or something? Is it like that?
He just kind of like, yeah, like it just like one shots.
Oh, so it just comes out of his body.
Yeah.
Okay, I get your point. Y'all can continue.
Okay. Yes. Well, I was just saying, you just want to leave us the judges because we've been on this for a minute. But like,
sure, we can leave that one to the judges.
I mean,
if you wanna move on, then
well, yeah, because like my main defense is just to clarify for them again was passive key aura that Jiren has even when like he's sleeping, and also his precog. I argue that was my main arguments for the judges just to clarify, and then like, and I also argued like a death hacks doesn't necessarily have to physically damage you in order to like heal you. So we don't have to necessarily see physical damage. And other people, anyways, we'll just move on. We'll leave that to the judges or whatever. That'd be fine with me.
So like, are you gonna move on to your next WinCon or?
Yeah. Well, now you can go with one more.
I'm thinking.
Hello.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna argue Snatcher will like he'll like shoot him with lightning. Yeah.
All right. So lightning.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's go precog that. I argue a passive key aura. So, yeah, I can just argue even while Jiren's meditating, his key barrier would protect him from that, and he would also be able to precog it. Yeah. So you give up that point?
Yeah.
All right. Well, my next one is going to be Jiren actually has like his like visible eye technique, or like his visible like just his aura in general, where he used it to like basically blink away and like basically flex away like Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. Now, what I'm getting at here is Ki, as I mentioned itself, right? You already did concede that it is spiritual in nature. So I am going to argue, since it is spiritual in nature, I would be able to affect your dude. And we actually have seen properties of Ki affect like ghosts before as well. So I'm not arguing I'll be able to destroy you, but I will be able to argue I'll be able to affect you though. And we actually have seen like ghosts with bodies in Dragon Ball, like when Vegeta and stuff had a halo, they was able to interact with like Goku and Buu. So I would actually argue, I would actually be able to argue I would hurt you, and with enough concussive force, I would actually knock you out. And due to me having precog, I'll be able to stay one step ahead of you and precog you. And like I'll actually knock you out with my Ki.
So that's your next one, Con, right?
Yeah, due to Ki being spiritual in nature, and you already agreeing to everything else I said, I would argue with enough concussive force with his Ki, enough energy, I'd be able to hurt you. I'd be able to like knock you out unconscious. I will admit, sure, I don't have any proof to say Jiren directly can destroy spirits, but I would be able to argue affect you at a spiritual level via Ki. So he'd be able to harm you. And since the precog is a factor, you already conceded that he does have that over you. So he'll be able to stay a step ahead of you in that regard and get enough, hits in with his Ki to like his aura to blink you, like just basically to knock you back and knock you unconscious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. And sure, I already said earlier, I won't be able to physically, right? I already said, I won't be able to like physically touch you, but via Ki and aura, where it's spiritual in nature already, and you already did agree to that. So I would argue he hurt you. Just not fully destroy you, or he doesn't have like soul destruction. But he can fight, he can like harm you though and affect you on a spiritual level.
So you're gonna attack me at a spiritual level, right?
Yeah, since Ki is spiritual in nature, I'll be able to harm you. And since I got precog, you won't be able to really stay a step ahead. I'll be able to be one step ahead of you and hit you with enough Ki attacks. I'll be able to knock you unconscious. And therefore, I would win via you'll be knocked unconscious. Yeah.
So like,
because I already went over like why Ki is spiritual, and I gave examples of certain things as well, like why they can, like even people in the afterlife, like different afterlife, like ghosts in Dragon Ball can interact with other like physical fighters and stuff.
So like,
so if we're in like a middle ground and we're equalizing the verse, this would be very applicable.
so like, do you think this would work on like, if my character went intangible?
Actually, yeah, because Jiren has directly blocked and interacted with intangible attacks. He's actually shown this when the assassin launched and tried to use intangible attacks, and he physically blocked them, matter of fact, not even with his Ki. So he can physically mess with intangible attacks and beams. I can get you his fight with hit too if you want.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I'd argue in both spiritual level and intangible beings, heck yes. All right. And here's the whole fight. It's not too long.
I need you to be my little work monkey.
Alright.
Just go to like 30
So, like,
seconds, 45 seconds in. But
alright.
or actually, yeah, like but yeah, I'll try to find a better one if that one does work good for you. But
Alright.
yeah, either way, Hit tries to launch intangible attacks in this clip, and they're fighting.
I'll watch this and I'll be right back. Not that I don't believe you. It's just
Oh, I know.
what?
I'm not like, yeah.
So you said like 30 seconds and 31 seconds.
I got a
Like-
better clip for you. Like, it's just like a whole clip here you can watch. There you go. It's shorter, and it basically gives you the whole gist.
No, okay, thank you.
No problem.
His name is Jiren. Yes.
And this also shows other stuff as well, like other precognitive, like precog indications as well, even early on, like how he's predicting where hit's going to be landing as well during his time scale. He's able to like sense hit in his like separate space and predict his movements as well. To add that on to his, I'm just adding that on to his precog and his sensory.
What was that? Hit is able to use the
He's actually able to sense people in like a separate parallel space.
to avoid attack or confuse his foe.
Alright. So your argument is that Ki is like also like spiritual in nature and can hurt my character?
We already proved that at the beginning. You already agreed
Oh.
that it is spiritual in nature.
No, I'm not arguing against. I'm asking. So that's
Yeah,
the
no,
point.
that was my main point. But you asked me a question about intangibility, and I was proving that Jiren
Oh,
can deal with
yeah.
intangible. Yeah, my fault. Yeah, I was making sure I'm on the right track. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna argue that uh Snatcher will be resisting to it because of his own resistance to his own spiritual attacks that were like used against him in the battle with like Hack Kid and Snatcher. So I'm gonna argue that like spiritual attacks have like resistance to it.
Yeah. So you're arguing he would have one layer of resistance? Huh? Hello?
Wait, sorry, you were cutting out for a second. What did you say?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm saying, so you was arguing, you're going to say your character has a one layer of resistance.
Yeah.
Well, I would argue Jiren would still be able to break through that one layer then. And I can give you reasons why.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. For one, he's able to break through the defenses, the key defenses of characters like Goku and Hit, who are able to also contend and break through the key defenses and resist, like adapt and eventually overcome Dispo. He wasn't able to penetrate their defenses. So right off the bat, that would give them one layer of resistance themselves, all around, like mentally and spiritually. Jiren was able to break through that and overcome that pretty casually. So I'd argue he'd still be able to like break through it. He's already shown that he can break through defenses and like resistance barriers like that are spiritual in nature. Yeah, because what it is Dispo, he himself was at first able to actually mess around with Hit and Goku. And Hit was able to actually adapt and overcome this. And by the time he fought Jiren, he already had his resistance and adaptation built up over Dispo. And Jiren was able to easily overcome this, along with overcoming Goku several times, even after Goku powered up even more. So I'd argue,
Alright.
yeah.
I'm gonna argue that Snatcher has negated similar attacks.
Not to mention, this still falls under another point I added on earlier with precog and how Jiren would still be able to stay a step ahead of you. So I would still lay that in hard that you wouldn't be able to like reacting time since I'll be able to stay a step ahead of you via precog. So none of that really, I would argue, you being able to do that really won't matter. I'll still be able to land hits on.
Like the negation is. Wait, let me go check.
Yeah, negation, I would still have to ask if it's only one layer though. You'd have to prove it's 2 layers because I've already demonstrated my dude can break through. Hello.
Yeah, I'm back. So you asked if I could prove if we had like defense like past 1 layer. Is that what you asked?
I was gonna say because that's not. I'm not trying to get off point because I'm still on precog was still part of my. Is like that's going to allow Jiren precog in general is going to allow him to stay a step ahead of you and actually land hits on you before you have and actually predict and precog before you even to launch off. You're trying to argue. So I'll be able to still land my spiritual 2 layers of attacks on regardless. More often than you'll be able to actually, even if you will, let's just say this, even if you will be able to like block it in there, I'm still a step ahead of you. And we already agreed, like that's still a part, you agreed I do have that early as a part of the fight. So I'm just making off key spirit. I'm still going to argue. I'll be able to land precog. I'll be able to land just enough hits on you via precog to be able to overcome you.
All right.
Yeah.
You there?
So, yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's just you randomly cut out. But like I heard what you said though.
So, did you say I'll be able to do that or what? Since the precog, you haven't really presented much to really counter that. So I would still argue, since I'll be able to stay a step ahead, I already admitted, sure, even if for some reason at certain points you negate a couple of my attacks, I'm still going to be landing more than you negate via precog. So I'll be able to land more spiritual hits on you and again, knock you out. And that'd be the win for me. You'd be knocked out. I've already proven my dude can get through one layer of defenses on this as well. There's no issue there. So yeah, what'd you say?
I give you this point.
All right. Well, you have anything else?
Not for right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess you just want to go to conclusions because I don't really have anything else.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, you can go first. Let's go to your conclusions. Give your final thoughts overall.
I feel wait, how do I start this? So the reason that I think Snatcher could take this is because he'll just use his death, like instant death hacks, and like end Jiren right then, like at the very start, before Jiren could use all of his other abilities or like key attacks.
All right. Is that your conclusion?
Yeah, that's my conclusion.
All right. Well, for me, at the beginning, obviously, I countered Snatcher being able to manipulate Jiren. So Simple agreed. He conceded with my points and arguments on T being spiritual in nature, be able to get defenses. And definitely, he agreed. So I took that. I would still say via the precog, he will be able to and the passive key barrier on the death hacks, and the fact it's a little ambiguous on whether or not it would really be coming from the inside of Jiren's body or not, it doesn't really per se show. So I would say due to that, I would say Jiren would still be able to like at least avoid that as well, at least showing otherwise for now. But like other than that, I would say sure I conceded I won't be able to physically with my own physical attacks harm you, but he did give me the skill point. But he did later on say, yeah, I'd be able to harm him and eventually knock him out with key energy, though, where it's spiritual in nature. He did actually agree and concede to that point. So I would say overall, Jiren, at least in this situation, should be taking it more often than not, especially the way it was handled and like the evidence presented. But what I guess the judges can say what they think. Who wants to go first? Look them.
So from listening from this debate, when the soul manipulation came up, I gave that point to Korin, but then Simple came back. He came back, and then when it came, because Simple gave the death hacks, I'm gonna have to give that death hacks to Simple because he explained it pretty well. So, and then I know that you said with that you can hurt him being him being intangible, but and try eventually knocking him out with key energy. But I'm in this situation. I don't know if I've seen any evidence saying that he can actually that Jiren can actually hurt him with key energy. I know that you guys explained it, but I didn't see it. So I'm gonna give this debate to Simple with very, very high difficulty. I mean, if this debate kind of continued on, I would have gave it to Korin, but in the end, I'm gonna give it to Simple. Anyone can go. Infinite can go next.
Okay. Anyone
Infinite,
else?
You're gonna make me judge? Okay, fine. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. Korin pretty much conceded to the fact that he couldn't like physically harm Simple's character. Granted, he was able to like get around it with the whole key energy. And like the thing is like a lot, and I mean a lot of like Simple stuff got countered. Like the soul and the soul and like the lightning thing, if I remember correctly, that got like negged. Well, here's a point that like Simple won. He definitely negged Korin's skill argument. Even though they did agree that Jiren was more skilled, like it really, I don't know why Korin respects him so much. It really doesn't matter considering intangibility, so you really couldn't physically touch him. Now it's kind of weird for me at this point because when I like look at the clip, right, it's like two scenarios, right? Either it just comes out of his body and it instantly like kills him, or like it almost looks like he like knocked him out and teleported him. Because like the minute like he like not even game over screen, the minute he like was about to like fall or something, he like got transported to there. And like if this is like the game over screen, then like as much as I want to go inconclusive on that point, and I think Simple kind of took that point just a little bit, but for me, this point was really confusing because I'm trying to figure out. I was basically ignoring like the rest of y'all points almost because I was just focused on the def acts because like basically if I think Simple won this point then he wins, if I don't, Korin won. So but I barely think Simple took this point. So I give the win to Simple, like at the highest amount of diff possible.
Yeah, same thing. I see very, very high difficulty.
Yeah, we agree on the diff. Unless Infinite wants to judge.
Well,
I think we get it. No one really paid attention to most of the debate. That's fine.
actually, I was about to ask about the jetpack's point.
I actually did prove like my dude can physically touch intangible beings, but I guess no one paid attention.
I don't know.
I did pay attention to that part. I'm just gonna ask a question about that patch because when debater jump in and ask about the death patch and how it works, I kind of messed up that part. So can someone like explain it in depth with me?
Okay, so basically, from what's how Simple explained it, like he just used it from his body, and you instantly die.
Oh wait.
Like that's how I explained it, and Simple agreed with how I explained it.
Well, I'm just trying to think because from what I know, it's like Korin like counter the soul, and he also did the precog. Like I did not really like it's. That's hard to think about this. Since like the other one Simple made that or like easy counter, so like since Simple has like did they have like 1 point as recon?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also point like did blow up that like with his key like can fight on a abstract. I mean, tell me wrong, but like a spiritual level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you like did like notice that he said. So I suppose I really want to go with Simple. And with the amount of encounters like Korin and a lot of points that Korin has made, I just have to go with Korin like no difficulty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad judgment.
Yeah.
Good debate, guys.
That was a good debate.